I was watching the board meeting the other day. I really don't like watching the board meetings. I don't like, there's scripted bullshit. And given a choice between watching a board meeting or listening to Trimet Dispatch, Dispatch wins hands down. There's no competition between watching a board meeting and listening to Dispatch. I want to hear real life shit. I don't want to hear scripted aristocrats bragging about how great they are to a puppet board who's there to rubber stamp the neoliberals who run Trimet. But I was watching it, and that's when the power went out here. And for the next 12 hours, I had to deal with rising waters, which we successfully beat back, by the way. But anyway, now we're back to normal around here, and I want to finish up what I was doing. And I really only wanted to watch Jonathan Hunt, but I always watch the testimonies, okay, because those are interesting. Those are real people with real concerns. And surprisingly, I ran across this strange, I don't know how you would put it. It's like Trimet's own propaganda ended up. I can prove to you by the board meeting how much bullshit comes out of the Trimet propaganda department. And it's regarding these new lines. Now, I know if people listen to me and say, oh, I'm criticizing Trimet, they just go, oh, that's just Al. He's a hater. He hates Trimet, he hates public transport, he hates everything, he's a hater. And that's the kind of stuff that people who are running the show throw at critics, okay? If you're not talking paradigm, they call you a hater. If you're against the current, the mainstream current, you're a hater, okay? So I have no credibility when I talk. But with this part of the board meeting itself, believe it or not, and I know they have no idea they did this, and the only reason it's coming to light is because I take this material. I have time to actually look at this stuff. But we're going to show you here, illustrated for your own eyes, how Trimet is so full of shit. And these new lines are shit. All right? And let's get started right now.
A highly requested north-south run in East Portland. And it will run between Southeast Powell Boulevard and Airport Way. It will offer faster and more direct access to that corridor, as well as to a lot of ride jobs and social services, shopping, etc. I think we have a video that we were going to watch now that gives some more detail about the 162nd Avenue line.
I grew up out on 179th and Main, and back then it was more farmland, not as much commercialism as it is now, definitely not as much traffic, and definitely Trimet was not that frequent out here.
There's a number of ways to describe the Rosewood area. One, we are literally the United Nations of the metropolitan area. Unfortunately, we also have the highest concentrations of low-income people, and we have people that have traditionally been marginalized.
The bus is my lifeline. I'll wake up and get ready to go. I will catch the bus 20 line going toward downtown, and I can take from anywhere from out here. I go down to 82nd, so about a half an hour at least, and then I'll take another bus to 72 and take that going north, and that's probably another 20 minutes. That includes waiting time, so it's especially in the winter weather and the rain, which we have here in Portland, it can be a while.
A significant number of Trimet's ridership has been dislocated from other transit-rich areas of the city out here, and quite often they don't have a north-south way of getting there, so they have to go out of direction.
I don't drive, and so any time they add a new line, especially one going north and south, it would help for like economic opportunities.
There's a lot of families that live here that are on limited incomes, and it's a great community, it's a diverse community, but it is a struggling community.
The importance of this new bus line, number 74, is to give the opportunities to get more jobs.
This is going to allow people access to jobs in the Columbia Corridor and to be able to make connections to other lines that may not be on the corridor. But the corridor is where a lot of family wage jobs exist.
This is such a big deal for this community, and I think for Trimet and for the region as a whole.
Lines like this give people significantly more freedom.
And this bus 74, it's just another addition, another gold star with Trimet, you know, the way it wants to help people move or get to where they got to go in a timely manner and, you know, in a safe manner.
Now, you enjoyed that clip, that propaganda clip, I hope. One of the speakers was Kem Marks. Kem Marks is the president, director, I don't know, one of the, he's the founder of the Rosewood Initiative, okay? He's the person that understands what's going on in that area. So you just saw him in the Trimet propaganda clip, right? You know, and now let's watch Kem public testimony about the line. And it's just fantastic how this whole thing proves how much bullshit comes out of that Trimet propaganda department. Let's watch Kem testimony.
You must be Ken.
I am.
All right. Why don't you introduce yourself and talk to us about what you would like us to know.
My name is Kem Marks. I'm the Director of Transportation Equity for the Rosewood Initiative, which is in East Portland, straddles the line between Portland and Gresham. On Monday, March 5th, there's going to be a celebration of a new bus line Trimet's going to be implementing. It's the number 74. I wish that I could say that the community is overjoyed with the beginning of a new bus line in East Portland. It does fill a 2.9 mile gap between north-south lines. However, the line is completely ineffective in serving the needs of the people in East Portland. It's only going to run Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and only 30 minutes between, or 30-minute headways. I can say that unanimously, any person that I speak to and tell them about the nature of the line essentially do two things: an eye roll and a face palm. And the reason is because they know that this bus line is not going to serve their needs. You all have an opportunity with your new HB 2017 funds to make this a line that's going to serve people's needs. I am concerned that the committee that is deciding how to allocate those funds was presented with a proposal from staff that would target or create a definition of high percentage of low income by using 30%, which essentially covers about 1/3 of y'all's district. Y'all need to start really focusing on the areas that need the service the most, and that is places like East Portland. You need to get serious about the service out there and target these new resources. You also need to add new lines and proper service. Again, Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, 30-minute headways is not serving people's needs. They will not use this line because it doesn't serve their needs. Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. That's the truth. about the Trimet new lines. These new lines are simply neoliberal bus lines to help employers get employees. They only work during business hours. They're strictly for business purposes. They're not for actual people. It's typical Trimet thinking here. Those lines aren't set up to really service the citizens. That's not me saying it, that's him saying it, and he knows. And this is the man that they featured in their propaganda video. So the truth is the opposite of what you're going to hear from the mainstream media. It's all public relations, and people that are not sophisticated in this material, they fall for it. I mean, government can fool the people 99% of the time into thinking things that aren't true. We see it every day around us in every aspect of our life, and it's exactly the same with Trimet.